Right, let's bring you the weather now. As we saw Kate earlier exploring the low tide, Lily's here to tell us a little bit more about these extremely high and low waters we've seen today. And Lily, the tides don't get much bigger than we've seen today, do they?
No, absolutely right. It was in fact the biggest tide of the year today. We had about 12.3 metres in Jersey and about 10.3 metres in Guernsey. So we're actually not likely to see tides that big for the whole rest of the year. Now, Rasheen was out earlier in Guernsey this morning, captured umbrellas too. So do take care if you are out and about in the next hour and a half or tomorrow morning when the tide will be high again then.
And Lily, would you mind just turning professor for a moment and giving us a science lesson? What is causing these huge tidal ranges at the moment?
Well, Alex, you may not know that tides are actually caused by the gravitational force of the moon and the sun. So basically, their forces are pulling the water and creating our tides. Now, at the moment, we are seeing unusually high tides. That's for two reasons. First one is it's a spring tide. Now, we get these about twice a month. And during a spring tide, it's a bigger tide because the sun, the earth and the moon are all aligned. You can imagine that they're working together, so their forces combined pull the water even further in the same direction. But obviously, we get these twice a month. So why is it so big at the moment? Well, one of the reasons for that could be because we're approaching the equinox. That is in about a week. And for those who can't remember, the equinox is halfway between our longest day of the year and the shortest day of the year, when daytime and nighttime are roughly equal. And we do get slightly bigger spring tides at this time because the sun is passing over the equator. That creates the larger tides that we see. So a lot of information there, but if anyone asks you, you can say, you know, it's because we've got a spring tide and we're also approaching the equinox, causing these really unusually large tides.
Very well explained, Lily.
So there you go. But let's get all the details now with the rest of the weather. Here's your forecast. Well, it has been a grey and drizzly theme today, and the sea really high too. The cars there almost submerged in the high spring tide earlier this morning. Now, there is actually a tide warning in place for tonight and tomorrow morning for Jersey and Guernsey, so do take care, and there could be some disruption along coastal roads. Now, in terms of what's in store for the rest of our weather going into tonight and tomorrow, it is going to be quite cloudy overnight, but a mild night in store and mild tomorrow, with temperatures actually well above average for this time of year. A different feel tomorrow. It's going to be largely dry and some bright sunshine, especially as we head into the afternoon. Back to the here and now then. Tonight, mainly cloudy. Any bright spells will be far and few between. Those winds moderate, coming from a southwesterly direction. There could be a few pockets of rain or drizzle, maybe some mist and fog, particularly around Guernsey and Alderney. But it is a really mild night. Minimum temperatures 9 or 10 degrees, so actually more what we'd expect for a daytime figure. So it will be a mild start then tomorrow, and also a dry start. It is going to be getting gradually brighter as we head throughout the day. Plenty of sunshine once that initial cloud has cleared. And the wind's a bit calmer too, a light force 3 coming from the south. Temperatures, we're expecting highs of 15 degrees in Jersey, highs of 13 in Guernsey, so a really mild day in store, especially if you're in those sheltered areas along the north. It will really feel rather pleasant. Let's get our times of high water then. Between 8:30 in the morning and 9:10, that is when the tide warning is in place, so do take care. Later on between 8:50 and 9:30, with the sea temperature around 9.4 degrees. So looking at what's in store for the rest of our week, tomorrow and Thursday is when we have the dry, bright, settled weather. Winds picking up a little bit on Thursday and some wet weather arriving on Friday for a cloudier start to the weekend. Hello there, very good morning to you. Well, it was a high tide this morning, over 12.3 metres, so actually the highest of the year, in fact. We expect a very low tide later on today as well. In terms of the rest of the weather, well, blustery and grey. Some drizzle at times too, but that rain shouldn't be too heavy or persistent. Tomorrow as well, temperatures going up and more bright weather and sunshine too. So this was a satellite this morning, not much in the way of brightness for us today. Maybe that cloud will ease up a bit at times for a glimmer of brightness, but largely grey. As I said, patchy rain and drizzle, and those winds moderate force 4 to a fresh force 5 coming from the southwesterly direction. Temperatures actually a similar feel to yesterday, with highs of 11 and 12 degrees, but under that grey cloud, not feeling too pleasant out there really. As we head into this evening then, it will be mainly cloudy, perhaps some clear spells at times, and the winds staying at a moderate force 4 coming from the south. Temperature wise though, a really mild night with minimums up to 10 degrees, so actually more what we'd expect for a daytime figure. So it will be a mild start tomorrow, but actually quite a different day in terms of it getting progressively brighter throughout the day, so we'll see some sunny spells, winds a bit calmer too, force 3 to a force 4, and temperatures right up, highs of 15 degrees in the likes of Jersey, so really feeling quite pleasant.